What's up, everyone? Welcome back. Hope everyone enjoyed the video that we put out yesterday. Man, I am still giggling. I've been giggling all day about it. Whoever's making those AI videos of Andrew Wilson, they deserve an Oscar. It's unmatched. But today what we're going to do is we're going to kind of go through why TPUSA is freaking out at this point. And there are a couple of theories on it, but I truly believe at this point, Andrew Wilson, the guy Gary, everybody in Andrew Wilson's sphere, they have been tasked to blame the left for this. And I just want to go on record with saying that if it was the left, that's fine. I'm not attached to any theory here. I'm not attached to any outcome. For me, it's more of just, can we ask questions about what's going on with this? And can we go over things that don't make sense? Because for me, if we abandon that, we're kind of abandoning truth, in my opinion. So we're going to go through a whole bunch of different stuff today. So why don't we start with this? It's very funny. Patrick Bet-David completely changed his opinion on Andrew Wilson winning. And he didn't say, Andrew legit won. He said both of them won. He said Candace won because she, stuck to her opinions and did pretty well overall. And Andrew won because he got $200 million worth of ad revenue or ad whatever. I don't know. Whatever Patrick Bet-David spends his time with in terms of how he makes money nowadays. Nobody really knows. But apparently he went on with this dude that was close with Charlie, Glenn Beck. By the way, Glenn Beck has been saying some really weird stuff. We're going to go through that as well. But now Patrick Bet-David thinks that someone other than Andrew should have been sitting across from Candace. And I am going to largely agree with him.
Everybody was asking for a debate. Everybody walks away. I think I saw some things that I didn't know, but I got frustrated with it. What were your thoughts on that debate? What did you come away with thinking?
Here's what I got away thinking. So let's set the business aside on how they both benefited, financially. Let's set that aside because it's really about Charlie.
Dude.
I think,
Patrick, you, I think you're worth a lot of money. Let's just kind of have some humility involved, right? I swear, it's as soon as somebody makes some money and they have some show and they have some like scam product, they think they're, the best person out there to talk about business. Just because you have a lot of money does not mean that you're a good business person. Business is not just how much money you're making. It's how much time do you have? Is your whole life work? Because you can have all the money in the world, but if you're working all the time, what kind of life is that? So you saying, well, let's move the business side and talk about something else. Well, sure, but there is no business side for Andrew Wilson. There is zero. None. In fact, it was a horrible, horrible business move. And the fact that you're not even talking about that makes it seem like you don't know what the hell you're doing.
somebody else needed to be in that seat than Andrew Wilson to have the debate. I think Andrew Wilson made the offer and they accepted it. Candace did. And she said yes, came in, and believe it or not, Candace is like, let's go through it. And both of them were open to the ideas. The negotiation was tough going into it. But I think there needed to be somebody else on that seat having that conversation. Either do it the right way or don't. What did we learn? We learned, Candace conceded on a couple things. I think Andrew, seemed, Candace was very poised. Andrew was trying to get his messaging across on the logic side. I think logically, some could say Andrew won 60, 70%.
No, he didn't. He literally said on there that bullets can just fall apart in thin air. And he's still doubling down. He's still doubling down on Twitter. I put something on X today. It was like some meme that said, Andrew Wilson's credibility is just falling apart in thin air. And he commented it and he called me an idiot again. And it's like, dude, you realize you're sticking to a point that, let's just say 1 in a trillion chance that a bullet falls apart in midair. Is that really what, like, that hill you want to die on? A little bit weird.
I think poised, some would say. Candace won 60, 70%. But at the end of the day, you know, once the verdict comes out and what's being said, we will learn what happened there. When their own family of, you know, Tyler Robinson's family is coming out and saying, that was the argument where, you know, Andrew kept saying, how often do you see mother and father not pleading? They're not pleading because they're saying their son did it. So why do you think parents are not coming out? That was a good moment for Andrew Wilson, but I would have liked to have seen somebody else sit across from Candace instead of Andrew.
See, I have a different theory on that. I think the parents aren't involved because they can see everything that we can see. I'm just going to be honest. If I was the parent of Tyler Robinson, I'd be like, I'm not going to say anything. That's probably not true, to be honest. I probably would definitely get involved, but for someone who's not as, I don't know, passionate, I guess you could say, as me, they don't have to get involved. Look at the evidence right now. There is not one clear picture of Tyler Robinson's face. You can't see the gun anywhere. They can't figure out what kind of round it was. There was a unspent .223 round in another building. Any like two or 3 year old lawyer, even a first year, could hammer this case. So why would the parents want to go out and just expose themselves to a whole bunch of media coverage at this point? I mean, to be honest, I don't know what I would do. I would probably be all over the news, but they don't have to do anything. It's not a good point. You're not assuming that the parents think that he did it just because they're staying out of it. Horrible point. Not a lot of logic in it.
Andrew, but kudos to both of them for doing it. Look, you're either an Andrew fan or you're a Candace fan or you're not. So it's not like, you know, if you're not a fan of Candace, I don't think a lot changed. If you're not a fan of Andrew or even knew who he was, the most important poll we ran was the following. Team Candace, Andrew changed my mind. Team Andrew, Candace changed my mind. And the numbers were...
So once again, I'm going to stop him again because this is kind of a low IQ view of this. I don't think it's Candace versus Andrew. Sure, from a far out view, it could look like that, but I think it's Charlie Kirk. I think it's finding out the truth for Charlie Kirk. If Andrew Wilson had some legitimate truth to bring out during that debate, I'd be like, okay, wow, we got to look into this. If Candace was caught in some kind of major lie, I'd be like, okay, wow, we got to look into this. But neither happened. So it's not a Andrew or Candace, at least for me. Obviously, I think Candace is doing a way better job than Andrew. I think Andrew's just grifting. But for me, it's what's the truth? That's what matters, Patrick. You really can't figure this out, can you, man? No, you can't. It's all right, though.
Were the same. I think it was 7% for Andrew changed my mind, and I think Candace was 6%. So how much change happened there? We don't know. Did it benefit Charlie Kirk in any possible way? Some would say no, some would say yes. But we'll see. We'll see what I have. I just want this thing to be done with so everybody knows and we can move on and celebrate what an amazing patriot Charlie Kirk was and how many young boys' lives he changed. And I want to see that organization, that institution, being able to continue doing that because that's what matters the most. We're right now in a very interesting place in America, and young boys are confused. They don't know who to look up to. You know, we forget how powerful Charlie was until he's no longer there. Who's replaced? That's not an easy job to replace. So that's my bigger concern, to make sure that's there.
You know who they tried to replace him with? They tried to replace him with Andrew Wilson. Well, actually, that's not true. It's Andrew Colvin and Blake Neff, two dudes who I don't look up to on anything. Anything. Now, granted, I don't look up to a lot of people in general. Respect works kind of differently for me than most people. I don't think respect is just given. I think you don't just be disrespectful to everybody, but I think respect is a very interesting thing that people misunderstand. To me, respecting somebody is looking up to them. It's saying, wow, I have a bunch of stuff to learn from you, or I have a bunch of stuff to say, wow, look at what you're doing. How do I do this? So for me, Andrew Colvett, Black Neff, man, they don't have any good attributes as men. They're sitting, you could not pay me all the money in the world. If TPUSA called me right now and said, hey, Dan, do you want to take over the Charlie Kirk show? I would say no, absolutely not. There is no amount of money in the world you can pay me to get on a dead man show without you changing the name. If they changed the name, obviously now I would still say no because I don't respect the organization anymore and the path they're going down. But can you imagine being another man and going on a dead man show and still having the name on there, still running ads on there? What are you doing? It's sick. It's absolutely sick. So we're going to go through some other footage today. And look, what I want to do ultimately, and I know people are kind of all over the place right now, especially the Andrew Wilson TPUSA side. And for me, I don't want to get lost in, I mean, it's really fun and it's funny and it's funny just kind of trolling these guys because they don't really know how to do this. But I don't want to get lost in it too much because I still want to figure out the truth. I still want to figure out what actually happened. Not, oh, Andrew Wilson released a text that looked fake. For sure the left wanted him dead. For sure the left did it. What a weak argument. What a weak argument. Well, we have this text, so of course it's them. What are you talking about? So this was some footage that came out pretty early on, but I want to run through it again. We've got Tyler Robinson walking through here. And there is a black SUV that pulls up and is going very slow. It looks like he's either about to pick up Tyler Robinson or it looks like they're tracking him. This is not a normal behavior, in my opinion, from an SUV. Okay. So we got a black SUV that just pulls up. It's going very slow, right? Going very slow. Looks like it's about to stop. What it looks like is somebody checking on him. Driving up, looking over, seeing what he's doing, and then pulling off. This is not normal behavior from a vehicle. You either pull over or you don't. Right? And if you don't want to make it too obvious, you're not turning down the road that he's on. Pretty suspect to me. Terry, welcome. Thank you so much. Michelle, welcome in. Smash that like and sub and share. It really helps the show. You can also help support by becoming a member or grabbing yourself some merch. Hope Sarge had a good birthday. Love your face. Thank you so much, Michelle. Sarge had a fantastic birthday, folks. For those of you who didn't join us the other day, it was my Black Lab's 5th birthday. And we had a ton of fun with it. So next up, we have Glenn Beck. And I don't know too much about the guy, so I'm not going to be too mean here. But let me just say this. When you take Charlie Kirk's religion, he was an avid Christian. For those of you who didn't know, I think it's pretty obvious, but when you take a man's religion and you start messing with it once he's gone, that is one of the most disrespectful things I think you can do. When Erika Kirk is going out there and for some reason saying, oh, Charlie would get home and say Shabbat Shalom. I don't know one Christian who does that. Not one. That is not a part of our faith whatsoever. I know people kind of say it as a joke, but for me, that's not a joking matter. I don't joke around about anything involving my faith. Joke around about a lot of other stuff, but my faith, that's where I draw the line. And this is what's happening with Glenn Beck here. He's literally saying that Charlie Kirk was a rabbi. Why the push to bring people away from Charlie being a Christian? What's up with that? I thought TPUSA was a Christian organization trying to bring more people to the gates of heaven. Ultimately, we're called to do that as Christians. But then we're promoting this Shabbat Shalom, and there's nothing wrong with that if that's your faith, but that's not Christianity. And it shouldn't be promoted as that. Period. Thank you, Jay Bones. Appreciate you. So here he is, saying that Charlie Kirk was like a rabbi as a Christian. Makes a lot of sense. Thanks, Glenn.
It is Russia's golden microphone.
Pull yourself together, man.
I think it's appropriate that it sits in front of Charlie's microphone.
You know what I think is appropriate? I think it's appropriate that you guys change the name on the show. It is no longer the Charlie Kirk Show because he is no longer here, unfortunately. Change the name. Glenn Beck is not Charlie Kirk. Andrew Colvett is not Charlie Kirk. Black Neff is not Charlie Kirk. Erika Kirk is not Charlie Kirk. Unless Charlie Kirk is sitting in that seat, it's not the Charlie Kirk show anymore.
What I would have said to Charlie was you were thinking too small. I want to.
He built one of the biggest organizations from scratch known to man, and he did it with Christian traditional values. Are you serious? We're going to get deeper into this because Andrew put out these texts and he's like, oh, well, he was worried the left did it. No, he wasn't. And that's confirmed now with the new footage that we have. He was worried about the people closest to him, which was you, Glenn. And you say something like that, you're thinking too small. Okay, buddy.
Want to be Rush Limbaugh someday.
Charlie Kirk is younger than me. I just turned 33. The dude was a monster in terms of growing an amazing organization that actually changed lives. And you have the balls to say he was thinking too small. Oh, man. These people have no idea what they're doing.
I'm a broadcaster. Rush was a broadcaster. But Charlie was a broadcaster and a narrowcaster. Charlie was a pastor and a priest. And listening to the way he could argue and think differently, he was a rabbi as well, and one of the best.
Oh my Lord, dude. Why? Why? That's like somebody talking about a guy who played for the Yankees his whole life. You know, he's a great baseball player. He was a Yankee, but he was also a Dodger. Doesn't make that much sense. That's the equivalent of this. You know, he's a pastor, he's a preacher, he's a Christian. He's also a rabbi. Nope. He wasn't. Why the push for this? Well, there are a lot of theories out there. I'm going to throw out one. Charlie had a problem with his donors pretty recently before he died. And he turned down big money from them. Openly talked about it. There are texts out there saying, I've got a problem with this. And no, they weren't Christian. It was the faith that has to do with rabbis. So why are we calling him a rabbi? Is it because once Charlie was gone, Erika took the donations from these people? I don't have evidence of it, but the way she's talking, oh, Shabbat Shalom, Charlie would come home and throw his keys in the drawer. Not, God is good. Can't wait to go to service Sunday. Thank you, God, Jesus, for a great day. No, not that.
He was a political organizer. He was a political think tank himself. He was a compassionate friend. He surpassed Rush Limbaugh by miles.
Okay. Well, you just take a break there, Glenn. Look, I haven't openly said this too much, but Charlie Kirk is someone that I respect more than most people out there. And it's not because I agreed with everything he said or did, because I didn't. But it was because of the way he did it. It's the way he ran his organization. The dude had a heart of gold. Very, very, very kind person, but he also had some edge to him. That is very rare. Very rare. And to see what's happening now, to see TPUSA partner with Andrew Wilson, I can confidently say not in a million years would have ever happened if Charlie Kirk was still here. But they got desperate, and they wanted this master debater in there. We'll hire Andrew Wilson, who doesn't even know one of the charges. That'll show him. It's the most disrespectful thing. The defense probably told the parents not to talk. Probably. Yep. Because a lot of the times in high-profile criminal cases, if you're super close to the case, you could be giving more evidence if you're the parents. I mean, you have to be pretty trained to go out and talk about this and not give away stuff that could be used against your son. Hey, Dan, you're doing good work and making us laugh at the same time. You, Nate, and crew are solid. Respect. God bless Dolly Parton. Oh, man, she passed away. God bless her. Thank you very much. Yeah, we're having fun with this, and we're just trying to find the truth. That's it. I'm driving faster. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Welcome. So I kind of want to go through a little bit of a timeline here on what's going on, because at this point, I am 100% convinced that Andrew Wilson was hired to create interference, to start blaming everything on the left, to take people away from the reality of the case. And I'm not saying it's not possible for somebody on the left to have done it or orchestrated it or whatever, but the evidence and what we have as far as pattern recognition, as far as what Charlie actually was saying before he was killed, what actually happened, what he was questioning, it does not line up 100% with, oh, it was some blue-haired dude who had a tranny boyfriend. It just doesn't. That's it. So here he is saying Stu Peters is an idiot and it was the left.
Now this Friday,
and we're about to prove it wrong.
I'm going to unveil tons of evidence. Stu Peters is fucking done. His whole Fort Huachuca fucking bullshit, I'm going to completely refute that. I have irrefutable evidence that that's not the case. Literally couldn't be the case. It's impossible. He's done.
Okay, so that was the week before last. Some people changed their posture. The hype started to build. Some people went quiet. Some people froze in place. The anticipation was agonizing. They moved to the edge of their seats. They were waiting with bated breath. They couldn't hardly stand the suspense as it was building. And then finally the day came. And Andrew Wilson last week came through and he dropped the nuke that completely ended me. I'm finished, cooked. All of the Fort Huachuca findings delegitimized. Total hoax. Mitch Snow's first-person eyewitness testimony, by the way, the only eyewitness testimony that we've had throughout this entire case, totally discredited. Obliterated, decapitated, it's finished, it's over. Andrew Wilson has now single-handedly proven, beyond a reasonable doubt, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that Tyler Robinson, who loved transgenders and loved furries and had a lazy eye, stole his grandfather's 30-06 Mauser and is definitely guilty in the shooting death of Charlie Kirk.
Mm-hmm. 100%.
And the receipts were the text messages that prove it.
See, folks, this is why it's a psyop, and I hope people truly understand it. Andrew is not coming out with this mountains of evidence. It's not. This is mind games. He's saying he's going to drip evidence here and there. He released a weird text message. Doesn't prove anything. At all. He's got a whole bunch of eyeballs on him. Really, not really, for just being on the biggest podcast in the world. But he says he's going to disprove everyone and all this. All he ends up doing is getting butthurt, turning off his comments on Twitter, and then talking crap to people like me that he wouldn't dare say in person. Ever. Would never happen. Would never happen.
So Andrew Wilson unveiled these text messages, which, by the way, internet sleuths and AI have clocked as being completely fake. However, you know what? I'm willing to concede that they are authentic. Messages that prove it. Messages, which
look at the cursor. They got the damn cursor at the top left. Oh, that's too good.
By the way, internet sleuths and AI have clocked as being completely fake. However, you know what? I'm willing to concede that they are authentic. Let's just say that they are real. Let's see what they say and who they're between. Well, we can see who they're between because there are no names on these screenshots.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what we are told by Andrew Wilson is that this is Charlie Kirk and some member of his security detail. Is it Dan Flood? I don't know.
See, this is the problem with this, and this is what Andrew doesn't think about. Because Andrew is used to people kissing his ass and being like, oh man, you're so smart. You're this great master debater. You don't have to do research. You don't have to think 5 chess moves down the road. You can just put stuff out like this and say, oh, look, we got the text. Here's the problem, Andrew. His head of security went on Sean Ryan and literally said they had no information about any threats and that Charlie did not warn them about anything. And then you come out with these texts with him somehow saying, oh, but But I texted a security member saying that I'm worried the left is going to kill me. So who is lying, or who is the idiot here? Is it this guy? Did he not tell the head of security? Did the head of security just want to lose all of his credibility on the Sean Ryan show and say, we had no thoughts of anything at all? But Andrew doesn't think about this stuff. He just puts stuff out, and he's used to just nobody questioning him, at least from his side. It's the weirdest cult of people. It's really weird. The insults and like the grifting that's going on is the weirdest thing I have seen in a long time. How do you look up to a guy like Andrew Wilson? What is there to see? What is there to be like, you know what? That part of that guy, I'm like, man, I got to emulate that. There is nothing. Zero.
I don't know, because I can't see recipients. I can't see a sender name. Is this Brian Harpole? Well, I don't know. It would seem to me it would be more likely to be Brian Harpole, because here in these text messages, he says, I have 11 on site. Whoever this is, whoever wrote this said, I have 11 on site. That would, at least to me, indicate that we're talking about the head of security. It's his security team. That day, September 10th, 2025, Brian Harpole, from what we have all been told, from what Brian Harpole told Sean Ryan, he was in charge. I have 11 on site. Now, again, we don't know if it was Brian Harpole. We don't know if it was Dan Flood. We don't know if Charlie Kirk was in these text messages because, again, we don't see any names. Now,
isn't that weird? Now, this looks like WhatsApp or Telegram, or I don't know. I don't use these apps. I use iMessage and Google Voice, but I would imagine there would be names, right? But once again, just knowing, a decent amount about high-level security, it's probably going to be pretty rare that the client is texting anybody than the head of security, because there are protocols that you have to go through. And usually you don't want a whole bunch of different people having different information. You want one person having all the information and then releasing it to the rest of the team. So it would make the most sense that this is Brian Harpole. The problem is that he goes on the Sean Ryan show and he says, no, Charlie didn't tell us anything. He wasn't worried about anything. So I would just recommend when people hear this Andrew Wilson guy be like, oh, I got this evidence. Dude, you don't have anything. This isn't evidence. These are text messages that look fake, and even if they were real, proved nothing. All this proves is that your plan is to blame this on the left, once again, with no evidence. That's the thing that's been the driving factor of this, right? Andrew says, Candace, what's your evidence? Well, there are no clear pictures of Tyler Robinson. Charlie was openly questioning a bunch of stuff about his donors, October 7th, our relationship with our greatest ally. There was no gun ever seen. Where in this can we point and say, oh, somebody on the left? Where's the evidence? Where's the positive evidence, Andrew? Is this it? Some BS text message? I'm worried about the left doing it. Come on.
Now, again, this is according to Andrew Wilson. This was the night before Charlie Kirk was murdered. We're just going to have to take Andrew Wilson at his word on that, because there's no date on.
I wouldn't take Andrew Wilson on his word on anything. He literally believes bullets are just disappearing in air when you shoot them. That's his major topic of conversation still. Explaining that. No, it's real. I promise. Okay. Well, nobody fucking believes you, dude. That's it.
On these text messages at all. So we don't really know when, we don't really know who was sending or receiving these messages and on what date. But according to Andrew Wilson, this is a conversation that Charlie Kirk was having with his security team. And he was saying, quote, this is the big bombshell. Sit down and prepare yourself for the shockwave. The big bombshell here is allegedly this person, this sender, who we are to believe is Charlie Kirk, if you are to believe Andrew Wilson, said, quote, I'm somewhat worried about the left trying to kill me. Well, damn.
Here's why these look fake to me. Okay. Once again, a high-level security person is there to address concerns of their client. That is pretty much their main priority when it comes to security. Obviously, they're not there to wipe their ass. But if you were a high-level protection client and you say, I am somewhat worried about the left trying to kill me, that is a direct message to your security team to at least have a conversation about it. Who? Have you received any messages recently? Have you received any emails? Let's check your home security cameras. Let's make sure there are no obvious signs that somebody has been tailing you. But nope, in this text message, the conversation is changed. It's not even addressed. Just so you are aware, I will be strict with whoever. Not, okay, let's discuss this. We got to figure this out. That's what a good security person would do, but that's what anybody would do. If your wife leaves home and you're like, hey, I'm worried about the neighbor, tailing me to work. He's been acting weird. Are you just changing the conversation at that point? Great. Bring me a beer home when you get back, babe. Thanks. No, you're like, okay, well, what has he been doing? Do you want me to go talk to him? I'm going to go talk to him. Right? I feel like this is all very obvious. It's also obvious what Andrew Wilson is doing. He is trying to get as much as he can out of having his name next to Candace Owens. So they're doing this drip drip campaign where it's like, I have so much evidence. Dude, this is nothing. You have a twofold now. One, you put out a text that literally doesn't mean anything. And two, everyone thinks it's fake. And TPUSA won't confirm if it's real or not. So you've got two battles. How has this been working out for you? Has it been going well? Because I don't think you care at all about Charlie Kirk. You openly talked bad about him before this whole thing. You openly talked bad about Erika Kirk. You called her a retard and then doubled down during the debate in front of the world. Can you imagine how bad Erika Kirk feels? Oh, I think all women are retarded. Probably should have picked someone else. That's one thing that I can agree with Patrick Bet-David. You could have picked somebody else who is widely respected to go up against Candace on whatever issue. The problem is nobody who is widely respected is questioning Candace Owens. It's just these idiots. How do you know that's Tyler video isn't clear? I think you meant to say, how do you know that the Tyler video isn't clear? Well, because we've looked at it and you can't see anything in it. It's not clear. It's not like 4K footage. Enjoy your show, man. Great job, Chris. Thanks, Chris. Appreciate it.
I guess that means it could not have been Israel that killed Charlie Kirk. He couldn't have been betrayed by people on his own team. The United States government and the military, they could never have been involved in any of this because according to Andrew Wilson, this is a message that was sent by Charlie Kirk, although we can't confirm that, the night before Charlie Kirk was killed, although, again, we can't confirm that because there are no dates and there are no names.
Here's the other thing, folks. If it was a legitimate threat, don't you think Charlie Kirk would have said it? Like, hey, man, there's this guy that's been in my direct messages saying that he wants to hurt me and my family, and he said he's going to be there tomorrow. It's a pretty wild, just random statement, right? I mean, the reason why I say I don't believe it's real is because Charlie Kirk was a pretty intelligent person. This doesn't track for how he talked. Oh, the left is going to kill me. Okay, great. Well, your security team can do nothing with that. Nothing. What does that mean? Is that a blue-haired hippie? Is that someone who just doesn't like Trump? Who is it? Once again, I would say the possibility of these texts being actually real are kind of in the same category as bullets just disappearing in air when they're shot. And that's why Andrew's trying to defend it so hard and limiting his comments and everything else.
And he said unequivocally, very plainly, quote, I'm somewhat worried that the left is trying to kill me. So how do we know if these are legitimate messages or not? Well, I mean, I guess we could refer back to Erika Kirk, Charlie's wife. She would probably know a whole lot more about this situation than some outsider, Andrew Wilson, who only came in to train debaters on how to debate at Turning Point USA, took a check, then immediately.
It's so stupid. God, Charlie would just be rolling in his grave right now. Hey, Erika. Who'd you hire to train TPUSA on debate? Oh, there's this guy, Andrew Wilson, who's a complete degenerate. And we hired him just because there was no one else who wanted to come out. Can you imagine? I wouldn't hire Andrew Wilson for anything other than to clean my toilets. And then again, if he came in with the same attitude that he's got on the internet, I'd be like, no, I'll get someone else.
We stopped calling Erika Kirk retarded and started glazing her. So let's check in with Erika Kirk and let's find out about these text messages that Charlie Kirk was allegedly sending the night before he was murdered.
It's interesting because I have unbelievable amounts of death threats. My kids have kidnapping threats, death threats. Our whole team has death threats. We knew that there was always going to be a threat, but Charlie and I we promised each other we would never live in fear. And he would say, if they're going to get me, they're going to get me. But he was not messaging people the day before saying, I'm going to be murdered. They're coming after me. Someone's going to kill me. He didn't say that. And I have his cell phone.
So either they're extremely just unorganized. They either forget what they say, or Erika is being very honest here. I don't know why she would lie. Your husband was just killed. Wouldn't you want to be like, yeah, I got his phone right here, and he's like, was really worried about the left killing him? That would be a perfect response right here. Especially for Erika Kirk. Think about what she's been saying. This is once again Andrew not having 5 chess moves ready to go. Just, put out a text and everybody will believe it. Okay, well, check this out, Andrew. What has Erika Kirk been promoting? She's been promoting the fake version of Charlie Kirk. That's the Shabbat Shalom version. We're just going to call him that. A Christian man who's never said it publicly, as far as I know. I could be wrong, but wasn't a regular thing that he said if he did say it. She's been promoting that. So what did it make sense? Because they're our greatest ally and Trump is a big fan of him and everything else. Wouldn't it make sense if she wanted to control the narrative for her to say, here is his phone. He's worried the left is going to kill him. That's probably who did it, who orchestrated the thing. Why wouldn't she say that? It's This is embarrassing. I feel embarrassed for Andrew Wilson and everybody over there.
Didn't say that.
Oh, well, shit. I guess we're faced with quite the conundrum here, aren't we? Because, yeah, now we have to decide, who do we believe? Because both of these things cannot be true. Erika Kirk is saying, I have his phone, which, by the way, you're just supposed to overlook that. The number one, the prime suspect in any homicide investigation being the spouse, within a matter of hours having the victim's phone. Put that aside for just a moment.
Yeah, that's a great point. He literally, according to Andrew, was texting people saying, I'm worried that these people are going to kill me. Wouldn't they want his phone to examine whatever's on there? Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, messages, all that stuff. I don't know how long that takes, but nowadays we have so much data in our phones. It'd probably take a while to export it all, look through it all, keyword search. But no, Erika has it, guys. But she is saying that she didn't know about any immediate threats. Weird.
She's saying, well, because I have his phone, I know Charlie wasn't sending these messages to anyone. He never said that. It never happened. Well, on the other hand, you have Andrew Wilson saying, shut up, you retarded lying bitch. Yes, he was, and I have those messages.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
They don't have a date stamp on them. They don't have recipient details. They don't have sender information, but yes, he was. Erika Kirk is a liar, says Andrew Wilson.
Now, you know what he said? He said, maybe she just made a mistake. That's literally what he said on his show. Maybe she just made a mistake. Is that something that somebody would make a mistake on? Do you think she went through his phone? Do you think she looked at the texts directly from his security? That's the first thing anybody would do. That's the first thing. What happened coming up to this? What kind of conversations did he have with his security team? What was the plan? That is the first, literally the first thing they would do. That's the first conversation that she would have with the security team. Hey guys, what happened? What were the leading things that started going into this? What was he worried about? Did he tell you anything? Did he tell you that he was worried about somebody killing him? And Andrew's explanation is, well, maybe she just forgot. Maybe she's just retarded. My Lord, this is like grade school level thinking. Maybe she just forgot. I will say this again. This is Andrew's problem. He is around people who simp for him, who don't call him out. And I know a few people like this. The problem with people like that is if they do get called out, they get rid of those people because they can't handle people not being like, dude, you're the best. You're the master debater, bro. It's a sickness. It is. You should have people around you who challenge you, who tell you, hey, look, I don't agree with what you're doing. Okay, why? Well, maybe it's because you're thinking like a child. Still love your show. There's no crying in baseball. Let's go Crusaders at Jamie Thompson. Thanks so much. Appreciate it. I couldn't agree more. Change the damn name. Yeah. I don't know, guys. I mean, I guess there are two ways to look at it, right? Let's say you have like a pest control company and it's named after your husband. Do you change the name if he dies? Probably not, because yeah, the name matters, but he's not on some show influencing people's emotions and controlling information. It's just pest control. But when it comes to a Charlie Kirk show, for example, they're literally in charge of a humongous platform. And also, shows like this are heavily dependent on the person. If I put some random person in here on my show one day, you guys would be like, okay, it says heavy duty country, but who is this dude? No. Nope. Even if he was good, be like, no, this is weird. We're used to Dan. So it's a humongous grift. And I don't think they understand the damage they're doing to the reputation they have. People with a brain are going to look at that and say, it's kind of disrespectful. You literally can name it the In Honor of Charlie Kirk show. That solves all the problems. You can still put these weirdos on the show, and that's it. But you leave it as the Charlie Kirk show, and you have a dude on there not having his name up at all times saying, I am not Charlie Kirk, I'm Andrew Colvett. It's sick. It is sick. And it's weird that Erika isn't acting on that. Do you want people thinking that Charlie Kirk is still alive? Is that what you want? By putting Andrew Colvett in there and confusing people? A little bit odd. And we should be petitioning to have all Charlie's videos that were removed to be put back up. Oh man, I did not know that they removed videos. Huh. I did not know that. I wonder which ones they removed. Because dude is a part of the LDS. Fair enough.
Hand to God, Erika Kirk is lying. I have the messages from the phone that Erika Kirk claims to have, which isn't a red flag at all. Again, nothing sus about that. I have extracted the messages that disprove everything Erika Kirk is saying. She is a liar. Charlie Kirk was sending those text messages, and I quote, I'm somewhat worried about the left trying to kill me. Just think of all of the things that you would have to ignore in order to believe Andrew Wilson. Just think of all of the lies that you would have to believe. You would have to believe, first and foremost, that some lazy eye.
It's not even that. Andrew, I know you watch all my stuff because you sit and bitch on your show about me, lie about me, say that I've threatened you, say that I want to hurt you. I don't want to hurt you, man. I don't want to hurt you. All I ever wanted to do is debate you, but you won't. You won't. That's obvious. Because like I said, you've never gone up against somebody like me, and I would absolutely wipe the floor with you. But you say that these texts are the be-all, end-all, it proves the left was the ones who did it. Great. Where is the evidence? Where is the evidence other than this text? Show me one piece of evidence. That is your standard, Andrew. If you don't have evidence, it's not real. Okay, great. Show me evidence other than this that the left did it. We'll all wait. You say, oh, I've got so much evidence coming. There's so much more to come out. No, you don't. You don't. It's pretty gross behavior. I mean, they want to say that people are grifting on our side. And then Andrew does this. Oh, I have so much evidence. I'm just going to drip it out. Grow up. Grow up, dude. You're a child. What's up, man? New to the channel, brother, liking the content. Keep it up, man. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Real Nasventu? We'll go with that. Welcome. All righty. So, then who do we have up next? Oh, man. You guys are going to love this. Good old Nick Fuentes. Whatever happened to the guy? I think the Charlie Kirk thing just kind of shook him, to be honest, because I know somebody went to Nick's house with a 22 and a crossbow and tried to take him out, which is hilarious. Who goes to somebody's house with a crossbow and a 22? But I think this is kind of where Nick Fuentes just kind of changed and just became really weird. And now he's got cockroaches just kind of roaming around his house. And I still think it's the funniest thing that he wears a suit in his own house. Dude, you don't run a TV show. You're not answering to a boss. You don't have to wear a suit. Do you know that? I would want somebody to I would kick my own ass if I'm here at the ranch and I'm like, oh, but my studio looks cool, so I've got to be in a suit. I would kick my own ass if I did that. Now, then again, I'm not a dude like Nick Fuentes, and you're probably not going to get me in a suit regardless. Best I'll do is a sports coat and some nice jeans. My brother had a really hard time getting me in a tux for his wedding, but yeah, man, cut it out. You're not Tucker Carlson. You never will be. But here he is getting really upset.
If they're wrong, it's because they're so right that foreign governments are trying to trick them because that's how right they really are. And once you get to that level, you realize these are not rational people. You cannot reason with them. Reason doesn't work. Rationality doesn't work. And I think if you watch the debate on Friday, you realize that very quickly. When Andrew Wilson was asking for evidence, she did not have any. When Andrew Wilson asked her, what is the standard to prove your theory? She did not have one. The entire debate was, I feel like, I have a gut feeling, it's legal for me to say this, I'm allowed to say this. And that's really the crux of it. So anyway, so we'll get into it. But like I said, I don't know that.
You guys are almost too stupid to insult. That's literally what everyone does here. It's what you do all day on your show. It's feelings. It's how current geopolitical stuff is making you feel, Nick. It's what we all do. We don't have evidence for everything that's going on in the world. We don't have evidence for a lot of stuff, but we can look at it and we can say, you know what? I don't like this. I'll say it before, I'm going to say it again, and I think this should become a standard for people in the United States. Principles over politics. What are your principles in life? And then make your politics adjust to that, not the other way around. You do not adjust your principles in life to your politics. But this is what we all do. This is what everyone on earth does. We look at things, we look at pattern recognition, we look at certain obvious signs of something, for example, in the Charlie Kirk murder, and we decide what we believe or what we're leaning towards believing based off of that. Because a lot of the times you're not going to have all the evidence. It's a really just, they try to use that argument to just get people to shut up. But if you actually look at a lot of things, it is very rare to have evidence on everything. On Charlie Kirk, what kind of security hears a shot and jumps behind a table? If they were my security, you bet somebody better pull out some heat quickly. Yeah. Well, so look, for me, when that initially happened, I was under the impression that they had a feeling something was coming. Like there was a while where I was questioning Charlie Kirk's security on if they were in on it, mainly because of the same thing. How do you know there's only going to be one shot? Everybody went down to help him instead of somebody pulling a gun. That was really suspect to me. What if there was another shot? All you guys are down here. You don't need 7 guys attending to one dude. 2 guys can handle it. Somebody puts a thumb in the neck and somebody's getting gauze out, pretty much. A little bit weird. So, where do we go next? Oh man, we got so much good stuff today. Let's see. I think we're going to move on to Steven Crowder. I'm trying to find where it is, but yeah, Steven Crowder is just going to kind of just, I don't know what he's doing. I think he's
On
in
the
love with Andrew. It's kind of like a bromance situation. But why don't we just move right into this? So a lot of people have kind of been confused by this, you know, oh, the text has been released and it was the left who did it without any evidence. And this is probably the most obvious thing, that those text messages are crap. Right here.
Thanks to Charlie himself, Charlie on the record. Thanks to Charlie Kirk speaking to the rest of us from beyond the grave through countless hours of video footage from public events and interviews. There's one that I have on deck here from March of 2025, just under a half a year before he lost his life, in which Charlie Kirk told Grant Cardone and a live audience that he didn't fear the left.
Yeah, there's like the purple-haired jihadist on a college campus that wants to murder me and my family.
Oh.
That, like...
I don't have those kind of haters.
Yeah, I know. Those people don't bother me, whatever.
See, my haters are nothing now.
Yeah, exactly. You know, they have weapons. We get death threats almost every day. That's part of the game of the space that I'm in. The other type of haters, though, are the ones that are the close proximity ones, and these are the ones I know that had some sort of relationship with me and either betrayed me or deceived me or said that I could not succeed. That is a whole different... Those actually get my attention.
He didn't fear the left, and instead he feared those in...
Uh-oh. What do we have to say about that, Andrew? By the way, that's an extremely intelligent take by Charlie Kirk. You're always going to have people that don't like you for whatever reason. It doesn't matter how great you are at something. It doesn't matter how great of a person you are, Christian, whatever. There are always going to be people that don't like you. But people who know you, who are jealous of you, who have deceived you, who've screwed you over, and still are around you, those are the people to worry about. Those are the people to take a double take at and say, And I would offer the same advice to Erika Kirk right now, even though I don't respect you. Andrew Wilson is that guy. Andrew Wilson called you a retard before he met you and gave you a hug and changed his whole demeanor towards you. And then he doubled down. There's a saying out there, if somebody is willing to talk crap about somebody else to you, they're willing to do it to you with someone else. They're going to talk about you and they're going to crap on you to somebody else. That's why I don't let people talk crap to me about people. You have a problem with somebody, go tell it to them. Go. We don't need drama here. You have an issue, go talk to them. But that's what Erika Kirk is partnered up with. But this is a perfect example of what Charlie Kirk was really worried about. Why would his opinion change the day before unless there was some legitimate evidence or some legitimate threat? And there very well could be still, but I haven't seen any evidence for it. But this makes the most sense to me.
In close proximity to him, who would turn on him, who would betray him, which is exactly what happened on the day that he died and in the weeks and months leading up to his death. But here is Charlie Kirk saying to Cardone, yeah, no, I'm not afraid of the left. I'm not afraid of these people. I'm worried about the people who are closest to me, who have access to me. That's who I'm worried about. The people who were telling me that if I went down this road, I could never succeed. When I said that the Blake Neff messages, when I went back in time and I looked at them, my text messages with Blake Neff, and I said that they were eerie, that's what Charlie Kirk is talking about. Blake Neff was telling me the same thing. You will never succeed if you go down this road. This is the one thing that will get you canceled everywhere. When you start talking about Israel, when you start talking about Jews, this is the one thing that will lead to your internet death, to your career death. It's economic suicide.
And that's what he was doing before he died. That's why Candace Owens brought it up during the debate. And we all know if you criticize them, I mean, look at what Netanyahu said about Spain. Spain literally was just like, yeah, we don't respect the IDF and we don't, respect the genocide. And Netanyahu went up there like a high school girl and he's like, you don't say bad things about us or else, or you'll pay the consequences. So imagine somebody like Charlie Kirk saying October 7th, what happened? Was there a stand down order? Why did it take you hours to respond to the most protected border on earth in a place the size of New Jersey? I believe that's correct. Why? That was a great question from Charlie Kirk. That was an honest question. That's a question that a lot of people still have. And then he was killed. Doesn't scream left to me.
You can't do it. And besides, it's stupid. That's what Blake Neff would tell me. It's stupid. It's a low IQ take. Does that sound familiar? Where have we heard that? That's what Charlie Kirk was talking about. He wasn't talking about being afraid of purple-haired jihadists or the left or trans furries. He was talking about openly, on stages, live-streamed, high-profile interviewers, live audience. He was telling people, I'm afraid that the people who are closest to me, who have access to me, the ones who are telling me this path won't be successful, I have a more healthy fear of them.
I mean, I agree. I think when you have an organization that big, when you have donors that are involved with that country in the Middle East, when you're turning down hundreds of millions of dollars from them, when you're openly questioning that country in the Middle East, you're going to have some friction. You're going to have a lot of friction. And for me, I don't think it's a coincidence that he was killed pretty immediately after that. I don't. Yardman TV said, thank you. You're helping her prep the medical procedure tomorrow morning. Hey, thanks. Good luck to you. I'll shoot over a prayer for you. All right. Thanks, Brute Force Logic. Snow for Life. I don't know what currency that is, but thank you. I appreciate it. Man, the trolls are out in full force. Swim, Rachel, swim. Oh man, I can't really see my chat, but I imagine, Andrew's really feeling it today. I don't know. I don't know why. Maybe it's because somebody put this meme out of all of them. There we got Andrew on the right, Gary. I don't know who the guy in the middle is, but that's Officer Tatum to the left. Don't they just look like a pair of Marys? You guys look great. When are you going out on the town? The simping never stops. My God. Oh, man, we got so much more, folks. Monica, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Why don't we just, I got to show this. This is completely unrelated, but this is pretty sick. Who remembers the e-files? Everybody just seems to have stopped talking about those. Here is some dude saying that we will not prosecute the abusers named in the e-files or reveal their names in public. Wow. Wow.
Thank you. You said this is the end of the Epstein, of your review of the Epstein files. So just to clarify, is the public going to learn the identities of the men who abused the girls with the information that you're releasing? And if not, why not? And then I have a quick follow-up.
I mean, you just baked in an assumption into your question that I have never said and I don't know to be true. Is the public going to learn about men that abuse these girls. Like, what does that mean? I mean, I don't understand what that means.
What the fuck do you think it means? Are you serious?
Well, I mean, they're the men who abused the young women through Epstein's.
Look, we said in July, and it remains as true today as it was in July. If we had information, we meaning the Department of Justice, about men who abused women, we would prosecute them, right? We talked about the work that we're doing. That's why I said that. I said this earlier. There's this built-in assumption that somehow there's this hidden tranche of information of men that we know about that we're covering up or that we're choosing not to prosecute. That is not the.
Dude, why don't you guys just be honest? Just be honest. Just say what people said in the beginning. You're not going to prosecute people because the entire system would fall apart. That is believable. I don't know why people can't just be honest. We already know what's going on. Oh, yeah, the Big E was the only guy who ever did anything. Come on. Come on. Just be honest. Just be honest about whatever it is. Somebody's got blackmail on somebody, whatever. But saying, oh, no, it was only Big E. Dude, give me a break. Give me a break. Glenn B. taught Erika Kirk how to cry. Tear stick tricks. Yeah. Seems like it. I'm driving faster. Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you, Hillary Sunday. All right. So now we go into something pretty interesting. So I don't know if people remember the timeline of Tyler Robinson confessing. I think the story was that they had like a friend who was a cop. Don't quote me on this. It's kind of all blurry for me at this point. But they had a friend who was a cop and they just kind of, had him facilitate the entire situation. But this is pretty interesting.
Then I looked at XO21, that's N2100L, and it was in Ontario, California. And it flew 7:35 Utah time. It left Ontario in California towards El Paso, which is a southeast bound flight. But instead of going directly southeast, it did a detour northeast and did a low fly down towards St. George. And northeast of St. George, we have Washington County. And the lowest point of the aircraft is literally above the sheriff's office. Or actually, it's not above, it's a few hundred yards to the left, to the west, in between, because I looked up the cell towers in that location. So it has placed.
So there's an airplane above the sheriff's office.
Itself in between the cell towers and the sheriff's station. Mm-hmm. And lo and behold, it's at that point at exactly 8:57 p.m.
So let's review. The airplane, this is N2100L, the other Hades aircraft, the sister ship, the next day. Now, this is after it did all this crazy stuff out by San Diego. So it does all the crazy, kooky stuff by San Diego.
It's a big detour.
And the detour is huge. It's like a 90-degree detour. It's like, it's way out of the way. Heads up to St. George, does the same dippy-do maneuver, and at its lowest point, so the day prior, the lowest point was adjacent to UVU at 200 feet and 115 knots. The day that it does this in St. George, it is the same time that the confession message shows up.
Uh-oh.
What you know about rolling down?
So when the plane shows up, it's around the same time of the confession. You know, I want to say this just so people kind of have a pretty good idea as far as what I think about all this, because I feel like people maybe get lost in just which side to be on, or, you know, is Candace right on everything? Is Andrew Wilson just this big grifter? Does he actually care about the case? I think that's pretty obvious. But for me, with all the evidence that's currently out, I think it's below a 5% chance that Tyler Robinson is actually the guy. That's my personal opinion based on the evidence. And I think it's a very low possibility that he will be actually convicted. But here's the thing. High-level operations for governments, entities that contract for governments, they happen. Political assassinations are a real thing. High-level hits are a real thing. And unfortunately, they are done at such a high level, there's not going to be evidence. There's just not. For example, if they wanted to frame Tyler Robinson as the guy, they could have lured him up on that roof and said, hey, look, we're doing some meeting up there during this. We want to get a better view. We want to yell something during, you know, the Charlie Kirk thing. Could have easily framed him. Got a gun from the house, put it in the woods. Boom, he's done. Had some blackmail on him to where he can't say anything. All of a sudden, Tyler's thinking of offing himself in prison or jail. So I think that's something that people need to think about, especially the Andrew Wilson crowd. If this was a high-level hit, you want people to provide evidence. Well, what if there is none? What if there is none? What if it was just a high-level hit and there is such hard to believe evidence that Tyler Robinson is the guy that it makes us think there is something else going on here? That's why everybody is thinking about it like this. If it was Tyler Robinson, if there was very, very clear images, if there was a clear image of him taking the shot, if there were flock camera images, everything about it, we would be like, okay, it's him. Great. Move on. But it's not. It's not like that. So we have a guy who went into the actual police station, and it's pretty interesting.
All right, we are here at the Washington County Sheriff's where Tyler Robinson turned himself in, accompanied by Mike Mitchell, retired sheriff, and his parents last year on September the 11th, 2025, the day after Charlie Kirk was assassinated. We're mapping out the cameras. There's one right here that would have caught them as they brought him in, what vehicle they were in, what time they came, and where they went. There's also, as we saw, 2 more cameras inside the sheriff's office.
There's a camera right there. I won't get you on camera. So there are three cameras.
That's really interesting. So I don't know if y'all remember, but there was one video of him going into what looked like a conference room or a questioning room where a detective will go in there and question a suspect. Why would they release that footage, but none of this other stuff? I mean, you could speculate a lot on that. The footage outside would be the most interesting to me. Who's in the parking lot? Is there a car tailing them? Was that black SUV there again? That's weird on a police department's half, because usually it's either we're not going to release any information or video on the suspect, or we're just going to put it all out there as far as him making a confession, showing up, who is he with, But if they have that footage, that's going to be really, really interesting to see during the trial. That's for sure.
Moved from.
Oh boy, hang on one second, guys. I got an alarm going off here. And I nailed my head on a cupboard. Gotta love that. So next up, we've got some weird stuff about Erika Kirk and her connection to the Middle East, that country that we don't even say on here. Pretty interesting.
Lori Franceby and Kent Franceby, Erika's parents, and Erika at the time, Franceby, moved from New York to Arizona to be in close proximity to Fort Huachuca because that's where Lori Franceby was designing and testing weapons of war for the future. She is a defense contractor with a company that's actually listed with FARA as an Israeli company agency that was used to spy on American Christians during a memorial for Charlie Kirk. Erika Kirk actually filmed a movie on Fort Huachuca where she was dressed in all black, like literally dressed like an assassin, and played the role of an assassin on a rooftop with a rifle.
Jesus, this is like, it's like they're telling you.
And Ken Franceby, by the way, her dad, this guy is like the founder of Raytheon Israel Ltd, and he's directly connected to the funding apparatus for the Iron Dome. So he was like fleecing American taxpayers and working directly with Israel to the tune of hundreds of billions of dollars for this Iron Dome. And then when she...
I mean, look, that is all really enticing information. I am not a person who 100% definitively will say, you know, that anyone did it, because for me, I want to make sure that I'm, you know, being as honest and as truthful as possible. But I will say a lot of fingers are pointing that way. They are. But once again, will we ever find out if it was truly them? No, I don't think we will, because these operations are done at such a high level that you can only speculate. And that's what Andrew Wilson and his whole crew needs to get through their skulls. So next up, we got Andrew Colvett saying that he submitted the message of Charlie Kirk saying he was leaving the pro country in the Middle East cause to Joe Kent because they wanted them to know everything they knew. Why then did he not also submit the message that Andrew Wilson just released about the left? Come on. Where's it at, man?
Yes, in a spirit of looking at every lead, turning over every stone, we wanted everybody that needed to know anything that we knew. Not just, I mean, and by the way, we've been accused of not being interested in the truth.
And just to remind people what this is referring to, this is after...
I don't know about you guys, but that really pisses me off every time I see it. The Charlie Kirk Show. No, it's not. It's not. And both of you suck.
Charlie's murder, there were text messages that from a private group chat that were made public and were used to, frankly, kick off the big conspiracy theory that we've run into over and over again, which is that Israel or the Jews had Charlie murdered.
Yes. So,
which we do not believe.
But we have been accused of trying to, or we're not interested in the truth. The actual fact of the matter is that behind the scenes, we have given everything we know to give, every single piece of information. This was one of them. I was told I could trust Joe Kent. I provided the screen grabs to Joe Kent, and I don't know what happened to them at that point. Okay, that I just want to make that very clear.
Okay, great. So once again, the question is If you submitted those texts saying that he's leaving the pro-middle in the country greatest ally cause and he's turning down money from their donors, why would they not also send the text from Charlie saying that he was worried that the left was going to kill him, allegedly? We're going to say allegedly every time we talk about that because I don't believe that text is real. And we need some positive evidence, Andrew, that it is, mainly from Erika Kirk. We need Erika Kirk to come out and say, yes, that text is 100% real. Show us the phone. Show us everything involved with it. Because at this point, nobody believes. Nobody believes it. But it's a great question to ask. If they're not leaving one stone unturned, why wouldn't you send that to Joe Kent? I will buy the guy that stole the hat off the table for $1,000. I want to test for, I don't know what that is, but thanks, Michael. I'm at the video with the SUV. We can't say any of these ID Tyler HD for president. Yeah, exactly. That the video that I showed earlier. That's what. I don't know if this is a man or a woman, but I imagine it's a man with the Crusader emblem. But we can't see if that person is Tyler Robinson or not. What we can see is the SUV moving in a very, very odd manner. And pretty interesting. Coming from an old school Marine, I can't believe we as Americans are even having this conversation in 2026. 50 years old, and I'm flat out embarrassed. Yeah, I'm not sure which conversation you're referring to. I imagine it's about the Charlie Kirk situation, but yeah, I mean, I think for me, the embarrassing part is our law enforcement came out within 8 hours and said that the case was solved. That Erika Kirk came out a couple of days after and said, I forgive the guy. Are you kidding me? Oh, my Lord. If this happened to somebody I even knew a little bit, like I said before, I think forgiveness is very important. But for that kind of situation, you ain't getting any from me. You go to God for forgiveness for that, because it's not coming from me. Even if true, Charlie knew he was talking to Zoe Shields in this message. He could have said the left to avoid rocking the boat. Christ is king. Very true. Wow, that's a great comment. That's a great comment. Yeah, I think 100% he could have been worried about. I mean, it's pretty obvious who he was worried about. It's pretty obvious. But I think Charlie Kirk was a very intelligent guy who definitely would throw signs here and there about what was going on. So anyways, let's get through some of these super chats. I still think Andrew and Erika got something going on romantically. Love the show, brother. God, I hope not. That dude Andrew is just the worst. He's not as bad as Black Neff, but he's pretty bad. He's pretty bad. When Laura Loomer is the president's closest advisor, MAGA is cooked. The only MAGA I can endorse is make America God-fearing again. Amen to that. Amen to that. Like I said, folks, my politics are just no longer politics. It's my principles as a man over politics, and my politics yield to my principles as a man. And they're pretty simple. I'm a God-fearing Christian man. And I don't like to identify with anything that's soft. I thought it was the funniest thing ever when Andrew Wilson's wife, Free Willie, brought him a vodka Sprite during his stream. My Lord. Might as well drink a White Claw at that point. No positive evidence from Andrew Pickles Shilson. Love your channel, heavy duty. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's really funny. So we've got we've got the people who are defending. I don't know what they're trying to do other than say that the left did this. I'm trying to pull this up, but there's a guy that works with. Here it is. There's a guy that works with Steven Crowder, and his name's Gerald, and he was the guy who was in the garage of Candace Owens taking a video after the debate or during the debate. It was really weird. It was creepy, dude. What are you doing filming in her garage? You know how weird that is? But here it is. He goes, told you the text was real. Charlie was worried the left was trying to kill him. Not our greatest ally. Oh, man. Wow. Thanks, Gerald. Thank you so much for telling us that. And where is the positive evidence? Where is it? Looks like you guys made that thing on a bad GPT day. GPT, whatever the hell you call it. I don't really like it anymore. I think it's all meant to confuse people. Andrew Colvett, not Bone Pickles. Erika and Colvett. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think, that would be crazy if Andrew Wilson was doing it, but, who knows what Erika Kirk likes? Nobody really knows. Benji ordered the hit and for it to fail. Take out Charlie and TPUSA. Think about it. Benji. Are you talking about BB? Or are you talking about Ben Shapiro? That would be interesting. I didn't even think about that. I think he's too worried about getting his views up on his YouTube channel, to be honest, because nobody watches him anymore. I appreciate your efforts. Keep it up, and happy birthday to your pup. A good dog is the absolute best companion. I'm saying, man. For those of you who don't know, I got a black lab. He's the best dog ever. He's definitely a problem at times. Loves a good trash can. But we're breaking him of it. But yeah, the unconditional love a dog has, it's something that it's irreplaceable, especially when you live in a world like this where there's just constant back and forth with people who, have no positive evidence about a text saying that the left wanted to get rid of Charlie Kirk. You made a great point that the security was too relaxed and wasn't worried about further attacks on the day. Like everything was rehearsed and planned. Yeah. I haven't heard them talk about it. That's a question. If I was Sean Ryan, I would have asked the head of security. Why did all of you guys rush in and weren't worried about other shots? Like what you think a foldable table is going to stop a 30-06 round or any kind of round? No. Absolutely not. It's like paper to a bullet. So, I'm not going to, I don't know. I may go read down. Geez, I may go down that road again because I still feel like that needs to be answered for. Nobody pulled a gun as far as I can see. What if this was all set up by Charlie Kirk? Just catches enemies within TPUSA and he's still alive. Eat that, Andrew. I don't have any proof, but let's debate. Yeah, this is like my good buddy Jesse on Fire's theory. Like I said, I haven't done a lot of research into it, but like I said before, I think any theory that you could think of is better than the Fed slop, including Charlie still being alive. The real Amoroso. Thank you very much. Welcome. I rarely go on X. Should we just start ignoring all of them and get on with what we are doing? It's such a distraction and exhausting. So look, I agree with this gentleman or woman. I'm not sure. Can't tell from the name. And this is a point I was going to make the other day. Andrew Wilson is panicking. And he's panicking, and it's pretty obvious just from pattern recognition on a couple of things. One would be he's turning off replies on his X posts. And all that tells people is that mentally he's extremely soft and he can't handle people questioning him. And that's kind of the point I made in the beginning in terms of when you have people around you who don't question you, who don't challenge you, who don't have issues with what you're doing when you're an idiot, which is a lot of the time for Andrew. You kind of just get used to people worshiping you, or at least acting like it. I had a buddy a while ago who was very, very, very similar to this, and you know, we're not buddies anymore. I don't wish any ill will towards him. I want him to succeed in life, just not at my table. But very similar thing. Nobody could tell him anything. Nobody could be like, hey, bro, like, this is kind of weird. You probably should stop. Or like, hey, bro, like, maybe you should check this out and maybe look into it and maybe, you know, not continue to do this. Any adverse conversation other than, dude, you're the best. Holy cow. He'd get rid of those people, or he'd have a huge fight with them. And then they'd be like, yeah, probably not going to be around you anymore. That is Andrew Wilson. There's not one person, I guarantee not one person in his group that is like, dude, check it out. This is, you should probably stop the grift. It's a little bit corny and people are destroying you on the internet. But I do agree in terms of we're giving attention to somebody who doesn't deserve it. I just think it's fun. I think it's funny. I think it's funny that this guy continues to double down on the dumb things he said. Like 30-06 is just disintegrated in midair. It's magic. It's magic. But I agree. Once everybody stops talking about him, he is going to become irrelevant again, and he's going to go back to debating OnlyFans women like that's a good use of his time. And you know what? For someone like Andrew Wilson, that is a good use of his time. It is. You're not doing anything. You're not changing minds. You're not changing hearts. You're just there to crap on women. And if that's what you think is a good use of your time, if you get fulfillment from that, it's hard to believe because he looks like he's just about to have a stroke every time he's on that show. But if that's what you like to do, great. But you're never going to be a name in this space for sure. Just by how you are, just by your attitude, just by the I don't like calling people fake Christians, but it's very hard to believe that truly deep down you are a very, very like true to Christ Christian. Like when crap gets tough. Men are the fairer sex. Andrew Wilson, check out my friend the Powdered Dusty for lots of Andrew Wilson material and epic crash outs. We've been dealing with this moron and his minions for years over at the Panelverse. I love it. He said that? What? That's weird. I don't think there's a fairer sex. I think we're just different. Men are good at a lot of things. Women are good at a lot of things. We're just different. And that's for a reason. God did it like that for a reason. Andrew teaches rifles. I love when he said that. I wonder what he teaches them. Maybe he teaches the how to shoot magic bullets that break up in midair. Oh, I love it. Yeah, I loved it when they said Andrew teaches rifles. Yeah, man, what are you teaching it? Can you teach a rifle how to shoot better? Can you teach a rifle how to be more accurate? Can you potty train a rifle? No? Okay. Yeah, because I've never heard any person who is a worth their salt firearms instructor who says, oh, I teach rifles. If somebody said that to me, I'd be like, remind me to just never be around you again. So I would not even trust you holding a gun. I triple stretch my jeans to be here. Please forgive. God bless you. I don't know what triple stretched means. I was thinking starched maybe, but thank you. Charity Joy, welcome. High level hit equals correct. And I meant starch my jeans. There we go. Amen to that. Yeah, they stopped making that I forget what it's called. I think it was Stay Flow. The starch in the blue containers. They stopped making that. I don't know why, but I had to buy some different stuff that I found. And but yeah, high level hit. Folks, that's really what I think happened. And the biggest reason is because you don't go into something like that and have the ability to, one, have your face be that unrecognizable throughout the entire thing and people never see the gun. That is high level. And if it was truly Tyler Robinson, he could have been a great Mossad agent. But I seriously doubt it was. The only evidence we need is that theirs is BS or doesn't exist. We win. Yeah. Only thing I'd say is, I don't really think this is about winning. I think this is just about doing this for Charlie Kirk because Charlie Kirk would be doing this for anyone else. He'd be on fire. He'd be doing what Candace is doing. He'd be doing what all of us are doing. And probably harder than all of us. Sup, Dan? Hope you were well. Just tuned in. Let's get it. Thank you. I can't wait to see the video from inside the interrogation room because they have to have that's the whole point in those cameras, to pick up confessions or whatever. Yeah. Yep. 100%. Jill Miller. By the way, Michelle is one of our mods. Thank you so much, Michelle. We all love you. Oklahoma, Andrea. I think Glenn Beck is your neighbor, maybe. He is in Irving, Texas. He's also a ride or die Mormon. He better not be my neighbor. I don't know what I would do if I ever saw him in person. I'm not going to hurt him, Andrew. Don't worry. I'd probably just go up to him and ask him about the rabbi thing. So you think Charlie was a rabbi? Where's your positive evidence for that? By the way, folks, we're also going to be using that term a lot. Thanks to Andrew Wilson. Where's your positive evidence that your wife is really happy with you after being with 3 other baby daddies? Where's your positive evidence? It's a question. Can we question things? The enemy of an enemy is a friend. The lack of Antifa at Charlie's deletion is more than suspicious. Antifa has ties leading straight back to the Pentagon. This reeks of a setup from the inside. Yeah, 100%. What was also interesting is what he was saying when he was shot. He was talking about, I believe it was gang violence, right? Or shootings. Delaney 12, can I take you on a date? I am single, but it probably this isn't the right place to ask. You can definitely send me a message on X or Instagram. But thank you. I appreciate it. I'm an expensive date. I like good steak. Maid Mina gifted 1 heavy duty country membership. Thank you. By the way, I'm kidding about this. I'm not an expensive date. I do not let women pay for me for anything. Dan, first, thank you. Second, Patrick Beck David selling a narrative. PBD is accusing Erika Kirk of using Charlie Kirk to make money. Third, in my opinion, Tyler Robinson and MF are Mormons in Utah, not allowed to speak. Oh, mother and father. Oh, okay. I don't know a lot about that religion. I know a couple of guys, or I used to work with a couple of guys who were Mormon. Incredibly nice people. Incredibly nice. You just kind of have to shut down whenever they're like, can I talk to you? And here's a pamphlet. You know, it's like, no, dude, I'm Christian. Thank you. But incredibly nice, a little bit weird at times, but not everybody can be as cool as Andrew Wilson, guys. Come on. I used Claude AI to scan Andrew Wilson's Lance phone screenshot and the leak messages to Candace from a TPUSA insider, if I remember correctly, all showing signs of being fake or doctored. Yeah, I mean, once again, this is where I'm going to go back to. I'm going to continuously say this. Andrew Wilson is a guy who doesn't have people in his circle that challenge him. So when you don't have that, or when you're not around high-performing people that always make you raise the bar, you're gonna make mistakes like this. You're gonna put out texts and think it's great evidence. You're like, oh, look at these guys, I told you, and everyone's gonna be like, what is this? Looks fake. If you were gonna put out those texts, you better make damn sure that they look as real as possible. It's 2026, dude. You can take a screenshot of your messages with your phone, and it looks like a legit message. What are you doing? Is this amateur hour? Like I said, he really needs to get some people around him who are like, dude, you're not that good at this. You're just not. You're not. You have a self-proclaimed title of master debater, but you're also a pretty big idiot when it comes to common sense. There is a huge difference between being intelligent by books or by reading and then having a very clear understanding of common sense. Skade Lake, thank you. Appreciate it. Noah was a conspiracy theorist and then it rained. Keep up the good work. Christ is king. Amen to that. Christ is king. Good evening, Iceland time. Does that mean you're in Iceland? Wow. That's awesome. I would pay to see you tear Andy Pickle a new one. Yes, the world is invested. Thanks for all you do. Much love. Man, from Iceland, thank you so much. I appreciate the support. And yeah, I mean, that would never happen. I would never go up to Andrew and just hit the guy. It's like hitting a child. But I definitely, if I ever saw him in public, I'd definitely go up to him and be like, hey, Andrew, what were you saying to me the other day? Do you want to repeat that to my face? Oh, wow. Why are you being so nice now? Stephen Coward and Pickle Puff have sold their souls and are still grasping at straws just to stay relevant, but people can see through their garbage. Yeah. Stephen Coward is definitely taking those $7,000 paychecks. He is. And I will tell you, folks, I will be completely transparent on this. I don't even have the opportunity to get those checks because these people know not to approach me with it. They just know. Because you know what I would do? I would go directly to my YouTube channel and I would say, hey, guys, guess what happened the other day? Some weirdo wanted me to offer $7,000 to start supporting this country in the Middle East that's committing a genocide. And then they would get exposed. So they know better not to come to me. But even if they did, the answer would be no, because I'm not selling my soul. Like I said, principles over politics, principles over money. That's it. Great takes. Keep it coming. I heard a rumor Pickles got locked in a locker in high school. All he had was a jar of Pickles tea, but he couldn't open the jar. From there, a star was born. That's great. Oh, that's awesome. Peter Bustin, hi from the UK. Man, we got people all over the world right now. What's going on, man? Appreciate it. Yeah, he said counting or not counting gang violence, then bam. Yeah. I think people also need to understand how hard that would be with adrenaline going, even a high level hit. If you have to time the shot, I mean, usually you would be timing it based off of your breath, right? But like I said, it's everything about this screams high level to me. Everything about it. And the fact that the gun was just dumped in the woods next to the crime scene, that's the most obvious thing that it could potentially be a setup. Who would do that? Who would do that? You just go and publicly assassinate somebody. Your face is not seen anywhere. Nobody can see the gun. And then your thought process is, well, I did all this, but you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to dump the gun right next to the crime scene. That makes sense. No. And once again, that is not evidence that he was set up. It's not. And that's what Andrew Wilson says. Well, what evidence is that? Well, it's not. But, dude, you kind of have to have more than a one-dimensional look at things. You kind of have to look at things and say, well, what does this show? Can we look at pattern recognition from the past and say people who were set up? Okay. They broke into their house. They took one of their guns and threw it next to a crime scene. You know what I mean? Michelle, love you too. Thank you very much. Pickle Rick is committed to his level of understanding. I'm also jealous of anyone who has never heard of him. His food for thought leaves everyone hungry. I do admire his courage for speaking in the absence of knowledge. Buff like Jesus. Great name. Oh, that's the best. Yeah. It takes a lot of courage because he promotes himself as this extremely intelligent person, but then Buff like Jesus said it best. I do admire his courage for speaking in the absence of knowledge. Yep. Daniel Stein, shout out to Willie Free Cervix for his basic training tryouts. If you don't have real friends that are blunt, you never get humbled to keep you based. Yeah. Yeah, there's another saying out there that you want friends who are just honest with you, even if it hurts your feelings. I don't believe that men should ever really be able to even let themselves get into a place of having their feelings hurt. Because I just don't think it's a very manly trait. I think you have extreme confidence in who you are, but you also have people around you that you respect to the point where when they notice something about you, like, hey, Andrew, you're kind of being an idiot, bro. Drop the conversation about the disappearing bullets. What are you trying to prove? That you're a fairy? That you're a magician? Great. Awesome. That's what you're going to be known for. You're going to be known for the guy who was defending the argument during the Charlie Kirk case that bullets can just disappear and we all have to accept it. Okay. Accepted. 1 in a trillion chance that a bullet disintegrates in midair before it hits the target. Are we done? Everyone still thinks you're an idiot. Everyone still thinks that you are a complete idiot for even bringing that up. Are we done? You want to still talk about it? You want to call people an idiot for not believing you? What do you want to be remembered for in this? Disintegrating bullets? Great. You got it, buddy. Fantastic. Where we at? Respect from Australia, bro. Enjoy your channel, bro. Thank you, man. Dude, we got the world here tonight. Oh man, I feel bad for Australia. I think I don't know when it was, but they took everybody's guns away, I think. And what a shame. What a shame that was. I don't know if you guys remember that, but there were videos of them just dumping hordes of guns into trash piles and then breaking them all up. And What a sad thing. Common sense is not so common anymore. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the problem with this debate crowd. Is it's pretty much the definition of overcomplicating things, right? And this disappearing bullet thing is a perfect example of it. Do you actually believe that's a theory in the Charlie Kirk case? He has said no, he doesn't. Okay, great. So what the hell are we talking about then? What are we talking about? If you don't believe that's relevant to the case, you're just being a master debater. Oh, well, there's a 1 in a trillion chance that it could just disappear. Okay, great. Are you trying to make a point so it seems like you're right on something? Do you really need to feel like you're right on something? Okay, buddy, great. 1 in a trillion chance that a bullet can disintegrate in midair. You win. You're also a dumbass. So, outstanding. But yeah, common sense is it's not common. It's not. Supporting the calm, cool, composed advice you put forth. Good. Thank you very much. Yeah. Extremely important for men to be like that, for sure. The thing I want to believe, Charlie is alive, but I don't think he would stand by and watch the extermination of Iran. Absolutely not. He literally came out and said that he didn't support it. He said it would be a massive mistake. And it's all crap anyways. We went in there with our greatest ally because they were scared they had nukes, and it's just evolved 15 different ways. Huge respect from Ireland. Oh man, we literally the world in the house. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I actually we had a close family friend when I was young, and it was a priest from Ireland. Great guy. I'm trying to figure out the town it was from. But some of the coolest people ever. Love the accents too. Dude, this is so ridiculous. We all know this inside murder of Charlie. I pray for justice for Charlie. It makes my blood boil. Yeah, that's kind of the frustrating part about all this, is if it was some kind of operation that was greater than one man. What's sad about it is we're probably never going to get the honest to God truth. We can just speculate. And that part is very sad. It's very sad because Charlie deserves better. Charlie deserves to have extreme justice for the kind of man he was. I mean, you talk about, and no, he wasn't the like normal strapping, burly, force to be reckoned with man. But in my opinion, mentally, that dude was one of the best men that have ever lived. Christian, very confident in his principles, wouldn't back off of them, but also had really good people around him that challenged him. And that's something I truly look up to about him. Like I said, didn't agree with everything he ever said, but that part, absolutely. Do you think the guy on the roof was carrying something? I saw one frame. It looked like a thin pipe was raising up his towel. Well, I don't think it was a towel that he had in his hand. I think it was a sweatshirt, black sweatshirt. But based on the review of the footage that I saw, once again, it's very grainy. So it's very hard to tell. And when it's that grainy and the frame rates are that screwed up, just kind of like you're guessing at that point. But I don't think so, because when you see him jump off, the sweatshirt falls to his leg. So if there was a barrel in there, it wouldn't have fell. Kind of what Gary was saying the other day. Look at gravity, and it was just a still picture. So I really don't know, but that's the question that everybody needs answered, right? And I think this is fair. Like I said, I'm not a person who's like, oh no, how could you say that he had the gun? He could have. But for me, looking at that video, it did not look like he was carrying a gun whatsoever. It looked like he had a sweatshirt that was floppy, that moved in the way of a sweatshirt and not with something stiff in there. So I don't know. But unless we have very clear imaging of it, we're not going to know. Andrew Wilson claiming to be Eastern Orthodox is hilarious, brother. You just can't declare yourself Orthodox like it's LinkedIn credential. Go tell those worshipers to your bed whale. Go tell Whoppers to your bed whale, not us. Yeah. Sorry, folks. It's been a long day. Reading is difficult right now. Let's see. Didn't early on someone say he wasn't supposed to die? Did he want out and it went wrong? Misfired mic or betrayed? Just a theory. You know, it's interesting. In the beginning, I completely disown the exploding mic theory just because it just kind of seemed a little bit outlandish. And then I came back and looked at it, and the reason why I came back is because, once again, if this is a high-level hit, we don't know the kind of weapons they have. Like, Andrew is like, oh, well, you would have seen a big explosion. Okay, fine with what we know about. But once again, the technology that we have that is accessible to us, we have phones that can write an essay, a 50-page essay in 6 seconds. Do you think weapons have advanced like that as well? I would probably say yes. So for there to be some kind of explosive that has no signature, that just kind of maybe shoots something out of it, I would be guessing, but there's probably a lot of weaponry that we'd have no idea about, and we probably wouldn't even believe if we heard it. Happy belated birthday to Sarge. Oh, thank you, Jasmine. I appreciate it. Yeah, he had a great day. I got him a whole bunch of new toys, a bunch of new treats, played outside a bunch. He had a great day. He has a great day every day. Buff like Jesus. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate you. Heather Schmidt Photography 1854. Thank you. Appreciate it. It's absolutely idiotic to believe Charlie is alive for several very solid reasons. Sure, he's alive and directing his Black Widow to destroy TPUSA. Look, that's my thought process on it. Like I said, anybody who has a theory, I think they're welcome to have it. But I agree with this. I think if he was alive, I don't think he would be letting Erika run the organization. I think he would have somebody in there that he handpicked that is very similar to him, that is very well respected, that is a classy person like Charlie was. Charlie Kirk was the opposite of Andrew Wilson. I hope people understand that in terms of personality. Charlie Kirk was an extremely, extremely classy person. Andrew Wilson is the last guy that he would have ever picked for anything. Anything. That's also another reason why I would say the theory that Charlie is alive is crap. Hey, I enjoy your content. Keep up the great work. This whole situation just doesn't add up. So sad life was taken this way. Yeah, it doesn't. And once again, you don't need evidence to think that. But that's what the Andrew Wilson crowd wants to say. Oh, where's your evidence? It's not one-dimensional. Things cannot add up. They cannot add up. That's it. Maria, welcome. Thank you. Furry BF / him never talked politics out of nowhere on a live Charlie Kirk and no after a step-by-step log for TR2 himself. Never happened in a real relationship. Yeah. I agree. I mean, I think relationships are very intimate and there's a lot of trust there. And if you're not talking about who you are or what you believe in, I think that's pretty odd. But Couple frames are like maybe, but that's not enough. Yeah. I mean, I think this is in regards to seeing the barrel. I think this is who commented that. I don't know. But yeah, I'm not going to say for sure either way. I would lean on the side of there is no gun there because of the way his sweatshirt moved. But we'll see. Huge respect, brother from New Zealand. Dude, we really have the world in the house right now. I love it. New Zealand, what's going on? Thank you, Jimmy. I asked Gary when this all started about the amount of blood, the amount of blood on the floor. Watching more videos of late, all the security had no blood on their pants, shoes, hands, even while carrying him to the SUV. Yeah, this is kind of a question that everybody has because with the amount that was coming out of his neck when he was shot, it sure as hell seems like there would have been a ton of blood all over the place. But there is a possibility that they got a thumb in his neck pretty quick and jammed it. I have not been in a situation like that, so I can't for sure say if that would even completely stop it. Probably be extremely painful for the person if they were awake. I don't think Charlie was, but anyways, folks, had a blast once again. Still trying to figure out a regular schedule. It may be here and there every once in a while, so just kind of make sure your notifications are on. But I have a blast doing these. You guys are the best, and see you next time.